Everybody. It is 547 week number 4. We're talking about information processing and memory strategies. I think of all the weeks, this one might have like the most impact on your teaching practice of the course, possibly of any course you've ever taken. Is that a big promise? I think it is, but it also might be true. This is one of those where like there's a lot of little things, but then looking at every one, like, oh my goodness, such a good week. And I know I kind of have to say that, but there are times, there's other courses where I'm like, oh, this week's rough, but hang in there. This is not. I mean, there's a lot. Every week is rough. Taking a graduate course as an educator during a global pandemic, um, amongst so many other things, but it's a good week. So you have an article from Edutopia, The Science of Drawing and Memory. If you know nothing about sketchnoting, I encourage you to check out Sylvia Duckworth, and then Manny, or on the Twitters, he goes by Manuel Herrera. He's in St. Louis. She's up in Canada. They're both good friends that have been sketchnoting a lot. They're both fantastic educators. So if you know nothing about sketchnoting and taking notes during a lecture or a presentation, check out what they're doing. It's really, really cool stuff. Sylvia has a book that recently came out about sketchnoting. So if you read this and you're like, oh my goodness, this is so cool, I should do this to my students. First, yes, you should. Second, follow Manny and Sylvia. And then if you're looking to kind of go further, Sylvia's book is great stuff. And if you're listening to me going like, I can't draw, I said the same thing. She actually, when was it? It was the last ISTE we were in person in Philadelphia, so a year and a half ago. Um, she had a session around sketchnoting at the Apple Distinguished Educator booth, or I guess the Apple Learning Something booth, and sketchnoted with her. And she was like, "You're so enthusiastic." I was like, "Because I didn't think I could draw, and now I can." And she's like, "It's like there's nothing magical about it." She's like, "I couldn't draw when I started." So really taking that growth mindset, I know it's becoming, kind of, but really taking that attitude towards sketchnoting, and it really is possible. At some point, she's like, "You need to present with me." It's like, "But I don't know how to sketchnote." She's like, "That's the point," which I think is like the greatest example of how you can begin to connect learning with drawing. The next article you have are some strategies around improving memory. One of them is creating rhymes and songs, and I have such a great example of this. When I was teaching second grade, my students couldn't get cardinal directions, north, east, south, west. Just really did not understand that, despite me following the textbook. So we wrote a song about it, and we made a video about it. Never eat soggy waffles. My goodness, that was 8 years ago, and still know most of the song. So don't be afraid of doing little rhymes. If you're looking for things that you don't have to do, but you want to play for students, Flowcabulary is a fantastic resource. They also have a number of free resources. A lot of it's paid, but a lot of it is free. You have a TED Talk video about working memory and how your working memory makes sense of the world. That's a fantastic talk, just under 10 minutes. You have a little 2-minute video from Edutopia with some tips around boosting student memory. Then you have two discussion boards. The first one is going to take a test from your textbook in the practitioner's corner, sharing your results, your reaction, and then your reflection around how your sensory preference affects your teaching, right, and your students in your classroom. The second one, again, is based on that practitioner's corner in the Sousa text, looking at the difference between sense and meaning. If you haven't read it yet, there's a difference. Looking forward to those discussions. And then you have a 30-point assignment, your information processing model analogy. And so strongly encourage you to look at the rubric as you build this out. Also, before you do anything, jump into that student sample. The example given for you from a previous student is baking. So as we look at the four pieces of information processing, the sensory register, immediate memory, working memory, and long-term memory, the analogy is baking. So first step is the recipe, right? That's your sensory register. The immediate memory is actually like pulling out all the ingredients. The third step, your working memory, is actually like mixing it. So the picture of the KitchenAid mixer, actually like making the thing. And then long-term memory, the fridge, right? So that's a good one. It's a total of 10 pages, although most of it has been redacted, uh, which is fun. I've never gotten to really say that in a video in context, but the idea of it is there, just the first couple of pages. So don't let the 10 pages kind of freak you out. It's really just getting an overview of what that analogy is. And I think once you get that, um, you'll be in really good shape. Just really make sure you're looking at the rubric as you complete this assignment, because that's how I grade it. And it's also like if you stick with the rubric, it really walks you through the steps of what this assignment is going to be. Um, Makes it much more straightforward. So that is all for week 4. Enjoy, be safe, wear a mask if you can, and happy week 4, everybody.